Christine Persichetti. It's official. President Biden will travel to Israel on Wednesday. Since the terror in the Holy Land began over a week ago, Americans across the country are helping however they can. Current News' Katie Vasquez has the story of one Long Island man who is heading for the front lines.
My son enjoyed showing the understanding of religion and being a soldier.
Jonathan and Elisa Nierenberg are very proud of their son, Noah.
He's religious, he's God-fearing.
The 22-year-old Long Island native has been to the Holy Land many times and has helped to teach the Jewish faith to others. But after his latest trip to the Holy Land, Noah didn't come home and stay home like he always had. Instead, he decided to join the fight.
This is everything. I couldn't be outside of the land of Israel when we're going through something like this.
Noah has previously served in the Israeli army and is now part of the Lone Soldier program.
Individuals who are outside of the land of Israel enlist in order to help their country.
So far, Noah hasn't been called to perform his military duties. And while he couldn't fully disclose everything he's doing to help the efforts, his family did reveal Noah is trying to support his fellow soldiers.
Teaching them Talmud and Bible studies in order to keep their spirits up. He's coordinating with us back here in terms of getting equipment out to the front. So we were overwhelmed with support from all of our friends and community.
While his parents are worried about their son fighting in a war.
Of course, we're proud, we're nervous, we're frightened, but this is what he needs to do for himself.
They hope Noah's service will lead to a brighter future.
Now is a sensitive time in the world. We need to believe in the brotherhood of man, that we're all under one God, and everyone needs to keep each other in our hearts and prayers.
In Cedarhurst, Long Island, Katie Vasquez, Currents News.
Catholics around the world are joining forces Tuesday to pray for peace in the Middle East as Palestinian officials say at least 500 have been killed in an airstrike on a hospital in Gaza City. Israel says it is investigating. One Catholic aid organization is trying to get into the Gaza Strip to help. Catholic Relief Services called for immediate humanitarian access, saying electricity in the area has been cut off, critical supplies are dangerously low, and hospitals are overwhelmed. CRS says they are monitoring the situation and are ready to respond to the needs. Israel's top diplomat is saying the Pope's comments on the conflict aren't strong enough. The country's foreign minister is demanding the Vatican issue a clear condemnation of the Hamas attacks. The Holy Father spoke about the conflict during his Sunday Angelus, again asking for civilians not to be harmed. The violence in the Middle East has sparked hate here in the U.S. An Illinois man is accused of murdering a young Palestinian boy because he was Muslim. Joseph Zuba is charged with killing the 6-year-old who he allegedly stabbed 26 times with a military-style knife. He also allegedly stabbed the boy's mother a dozen times. Court documents say Zuba was their landlord. He confronted them on October 14th, arguing with them over the war and demanding they leave. The boy's uncle shared his final words.
He was last words to his mom. Mom, I'm fine. You know what? He is fine. He's in a better place.
The boy's mom is expected to make a full recovery. Zuba is a member of a local Catholic church. His pastor said the entire community is affected and grieving the tragedy. Meanwhile, in Brussels, Belgian sources believe a suspected terrorist gunned down 2 Swedish men in retaliation for that stabbing. The 45-year-old claimed to be inspired by the Islamic State when he shot the men during a Belgium-Sweden soccer match. He was killed by police. Then another attack, this one at a school in France. A former student stabbing a teacher to death and wounding 2 others last Friday. French officials are calling it a terror attack after the suspect pledged allegiance to the Islamic State in an audio recording. The 20-year-old is in custody. To stay up to date on the terror in the Holy Land and the fallout across the world, tune in to Currents News and the tablet, both online and on social media. Turning now to the Synod on Synodality. The month-long meeting at the Vatican has one goal: to achieve a more collaborative church. The youngest participant, Wyatt Olivas from the Diocese of Cheyenne, Wyoming, says every voice is being heard.
The whole point of the Synod is to listen to everyone, right? And I think it's super important and super awesome that Pope Francis literally means everyone. Like me, I'm just 19 years old, and I'm from like a small little place, and he's like, I want to listen to you.
Wyatt went on to say young Catholics are ready to take on more responsibility in the church. Every day, Wyatt has been meeting with hundreds of cardinals, bishops, and religious to work through a huge document. The paper details all the topics churches around the world discussed during the first phase of the Synod. But there's three main points. Currents News' Andy Madison breaks them down for us.
Every delegate or member, we've been split into different groups according to language. People were encouraged to share their experiences during this synodal process prior to coming here.
Throughout the 4 weeks, the groups will discuss 3 priority issues outlined in the Instrumentum Laboris: communion, mission, and participation. From October 9th to 14th, the participants will focus on communion. Specifically, they will reflect on finding a unity that embraces diversity without erasing it, because this variety helps to widen the scope of communion. In the second week, October 16th to 21st, the subject will be mission. The groups will discuss the missionary nature of the church and how it can recognize and value the contribution that each baptized person can offer in the mission. The final week, October 23rd to 29th, the priority will be participation, which is meant to protect the uniqueness of each individual person without reducing them to instruments to be used in the church's mission. To help with these discussions, each day of the assembly begins with prayer.
To help us to do this over the coming weeks, we will experience other moments of common spirituality. And each day we can celebrate the Eucharist together next door in St. Peter's Basilica in the morning before the beginning of our sessions.
That was Andy Madison reporting. The Synod will wrap up at the end of the month. And finally tonight, Polish heritage was the highlight of a special concert at the Co-Cathedral of St. Joseph on Sunday. The Diocese of Brooklyn honoring Polish American Heritage Month with a free concert. 20 musicians from Poland performed on the 45th anniversary of the election of Pope John Paul II. There was also a Polish language mass celebrated by Bishop Joseph Dabrowski of Charlottetown, Canada. That is this Currents News Update. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us, because we are putting your faith in the news. Hope to see you again next time.